The International Foundation for Electoral Systems, IFES, is hosting about 160 delegates who are in charge of electioneering in countries like China, Australia, Libya, Nigeria, and 51 others, with the sole aim of exposing how elections are conducted in the United States and how best they can customize the lessons to suit their countries. It's not just an indoor assignment, so they're organized into batches and taken to see firsthand how the system works. One of the polling stations in Arlington, Virginia, is an elementary school. Even from outside, one of the major differences between the American electoral laws and some other countries can be seen. In the United States, there's no quiet time before the elections, implying that politicians and their campaigners can keep on trying to win electorates over, even at the polling station on election days, except that agents have to stay about 40 feet away in Virginia from actual voting stations. The distance is different for different states, with the farthest being 100 feet.
I'm here to hand out sample ballots for the Democratic Party, and this is to help people know who the candidates are for our party and also what our recommendations are on voting for the bond issues and the constitutional amendments.
Even the candidates are allowed to visit and interact with the people as a final way to appeal to voters, although they can only spend 10 minutes at a polling station. Inside, it's estimated that a voter spends about 5 minutes for the whole process, beginning with identification. Recently, the United States electoral bodies have added the requirement of photo identity for voting, and it's yet to settle down with a handful of Americans.
As you move to a photo identification, you have people who are concerned both about the rights of privacy of the citizen, as well as people who are concerned about the incidence of fraud. I happen to believe, on a personal basis, that this entire debate is being motivated by people who believe there is fraud, but they cannot show any evidence of fraud taking place in our system.
The election officials are paid citizens who apply for the job prior to the elections. They are given tests and, if satisfactory, given 8-hour training before they assume the temporary job paid by funds from the Board of Election in the district.
Everyone that's working here is paid volunteers. And the reason we're paid volunteers is for the simple fact that, realistically, the day of the election is almost like a 14-hour day. Yeah. So if you're not a paid volunteer, you can be like, okay, I'm out of here.
Each station is called precinct and has between 1,000 and 4,000 voters. But for voters who are not registered there or who cannot give proper identification, they may be allowed provisional voting, implying that their votes may or may not be counted. They will know this after 10 days, as well as why they were disqualified if their votes were not counted. Considerations such as this and avenues like voting by mail, absentee voting, as well as early voting are not practiced in many countries.
I think with time we will be able to handle those things. It's all a matter of trust built over time. In our own context, there are legal constraints. For example, we cannot allow for diaspora voting because the laws are restrictive. The laws are clear that you have to vote where you have registered, and you cannot register outside the country.
Another precinct which the delegates observe is a church in D.C. area, open to all voters irrespective of denomination or religion, as long as it's been approved by the Board of Election. It's a good example of the practice of different voting systems by the United States. Voters choose if they want to use touchscreen or paper ballots. These are some of the lessons which the visiting delegates take back to their countries with the responsibility of infusing into their system for a better democracy. Amy Thompson reporting for Channels Television News.